All right, welcome to the Jared Williams Show. I'm Jared. This is Joel. I've scaled my plumbing business to over $5 million a year, and by the end of this podcast, you're gonna learn 9 easy changes you can make in your business. Things like hiring, systems, branding, price books, plus a whole extra. And these things are gonna help you simplify your business, spend more time making money, which is what you should be doing.
Amen, brother. Amen.
What's up, Joel?
Nothing. I'm good, man. I'm having a lot of fun right now. I am. We've brought on more people onto the old Wealthy Plumber team.
Cool.
And I really like people. I really like managing people. So it's like super fun for me.
We just had one of our guys who started out, literally had no business when he started. Just hit his first 100K month. Bam.
Yeah. How long
Took him 6 months from start to 100K.
Oh, dude. What's the secret?
Consistency. Like doing the right stuff consistently.
Yeah.
Setting up the right pieces.
Yeah.
So that people can find you on the internet, can call you, and you can take their call, and you can book the job, and you can do a good job.
Yeah.
He'll be over. Well, this year he'll probably be close to $1 million just this year.
Yeah. It's just him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's ready to hire another guy. So
Yeah.
next year he'll be doing 2 or 3.
I shared that story and then another video of another of our guy who's doing really well to the team this morning, because I always want to, it's really easy, and I think you find this in any business, it's really easy just to show up and you're like, all right, guys, what are our metrics? Like, are we closing well? Are we doing all these things? And you forget that there's actually humans involved.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to be like, hey, guys, like the rewarding part of having a coaching program is, for me at least, is, well, business is fun.
Yeah.
Managing people, supporting people, leading people is really fun for me. But then recognizing that people like the guy that you brought up, like his life is now completely different.
Completely different.
Like he had no
Completely
idea
changed.
that he was going to walk into a business scenario where he was going to be making real money. And to me, that's awesome. And I love communicating that stuff to the team, because it's like, it's easy to just put your head down and start to work and forget that there are humans that we're really trying to help and change their lives.
It's the best part about what I've done with my life up to this point, so I spent like 35 years goofing off, and actually 36, 36 years goofing off, and like the last 3 actually having an impact on not only myself, but and not only my family, but everybody around me.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool.
It's rad. While we're on that note, I mean, since I'm bragging, we had another guy. He's been in the program for 6 months. And he's in Australia, so his fiscal year just ended. First 6 months of the year, I want to say he was averaging 30K a month. Second 6 months of the year after he joined our program, he's averaging 76K a month. He literally doubled his business plus some in the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's rad.
It is rad.
I brought that guy on, and it was really fun. And I've talked to him a couple times in between, and it's fun because bringing him on, he was just like, I just want to go fishing, man. Like, I just want more time to like do these things. And it's, my last conversation with him was cool, because he's like, dude, like things are happening. Like, I'm like I'm actually making money, and I'm actually a little bit more busy, and like, this is like a real opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool thing. Again, just to watch somebody's, and it's not just that they're making more money and their life has changed. It's that they actually see that this future is possible.
Yeah. And there's a possible future that's like, okay, I have a business that actually runs, that's not a giant headache, that is profitable, and I'm actually buying my freedom now. And I actually have more freedom now than I did when I was just working every day with no business responsibilities. Yeah, I have more responsibility, but you have more freedom because you have more time, because you just bought other people's time to go do stuff for you. And now you have more money, which allows you to go enjoy the time that you have. It's cool.
Yeah, it is super cool.
I love it. Okay, so today is a continuation of our last podcast, where we're going to talk about hiring and price books and software, and how to grow and scale, and general managers, and how to systemize, and efficiency and profits, and all that good stuff. If we make it through all that, it'll be awesome. And it's a 2-part series on the previous episode, so you can literally go back one episode, We covered basically getting started, pricing, marketing, and scheduling. So if you have that stuff figured out, keep listening. If you don't have that first bit of information figured out, keep listening, but go back and listen to the other one. Or if you want to make sure you have the last stuff figured out, go back and listen to it anyways. Because we talk about a lot more than just those few things.
That was a really good advice, Jared.
I'm a good advisor.
Dang, you're a really good advisor.
Dude, I used to work with a guy and we would joke. Anytime we would say something like that, we would always turn it around to I'm a good whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then for years, it turned into I'm going to go start like we would say, I'm going to go start a good advisor union hall. Just dumb.
Sounds like a good t-shirt. Like, my name's Jared and I'm a good advisor.
Yeah.
Or just, I'm a good advisor.
Yeah.
All right. Product launch.
Product launch.
Costin. Chip, chop, chip.
Okay. So where we left off last time, we were kind of talking about, one truck Chuck starting out, trying to get going, right? And we made it to the point where he has, gotten started, has his pricing figured out,
Thank goodness.
has his marketing figured out. So he's getting consistent call volume. He's been getting consistent call volume long enough now that he's able to put his skills to use and bill out a good income and stash some money away. It's kind of where the two guys we were talking about earlier in this podcast, that's kind of where they are. They're right here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go through steps 5 through, hey, we got another focus. We're going to go through steps 5 through 10, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 5 through 13.
Holy moly.
Dang, man. Stick around. This one might get a little long.
What? No.
It's all good stuff though. Okay. In the very beginning, we were like, okay, you need to have a strong focus on just bringing in cash, right? Mm. And you really have to watch your expenses and not get unnecessary expenses. Mm. So things that are necessary would be like marketing, because you have to get more work to grow your business. Mm. You have to have the tools to be able to do your job. Do you have to have the fanciest tools and all the gizmos and gadgets and shiny objects?
Definitely.
No.
Oh, dang it.
Do you even have to have, software per se? No, you don't. You can, but you don't.
You really have to have every AI tool possible. It's really the secret.
Do you have to have sales training? No, you don't. Right? You don't have to have a lot of that stuff. So moving into step 5, where we're going to start hiring some technicians, we still have to have that same kind of mentality. Okay. It's
Sure.
We need to have a strong focus on bringing in money. Like we have to be chasing the money. Okay. If I'm thinking about adding a technician, me personally, in a business, I want to make sure that my job board is full. Like I'm swamped. I literally can't handle it all. And by hiring another technician, it's going to increase my revenue. Okay. A lot of people will hire too early. They'll have like 1 or 2 jobs a day for their guys, and the labor cost of the technician just kills their business, eats their profits away.
Yep.
And so they're stuck in this cycle, and they can never spend enough money on advertising to get out of the cycle. If that's you, like if you hired guys and you're not working with a marketing company, and you're not doing marketing and you're not spending money on marketing, you probably need to backtrack. Unless you have a ton of word of mouth, then you need to backtrack. If you're super busy at that point, fine.
Sure.
But I wouldn't hire anybody else until I got marketing in place.
Yeah, because that really is a lever. Otherwise, you don't really have a lever.
You don't have a lever, right? When you hire a guy, you need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to go increase marketing budgets here and get this extra work for this guy. Ideally, you would increase budgets, let the work come pouring in, and then hire the guy. That's how I would do it.
Gotcha.
That makes the most sense. Yeah, you could do it the other way. I say that's how I do it, but I didn't do it that way.
Sure.
I always hired the guy and then went, oh, crap. I got to make this guy busy.
Yeah.
Let's go spend some more money on
it sounds like when
marketing.
you're like in the throes and you're just like doing stuff, you're like, oh, I got to do this. And
Yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah.
So I would want to be busy. I would want to make sure I had the marketing in place. If I didn't have the marketing in place, I didn't have that lever that I could pull, and I had guys and I wasn't keeping them busy enough to where they could produce enough revenue to be profitable, then it's time to go backwards to go forwards.
Yep.
Right? Sometimes you got to take a step back, let some guys go, put the marketing machine in place, even if that means you have to go back out in the truck, which can be the hardest decision ever, because once you get out of the truck,
sure,
you do not want to go back in.
Yeah.
That was my biggest fear. I did not want to go back in that truck.
Can I run you like a little scenario and tell me what you think?
Yeah.
So what if I'm a company that I have good branding, like I got a kick charge and everything, like my branding's good. I have a pretty good agency, you know, it's seeming to work for me. I have one guy in the field, I'm in the office, and I have a CSR who is my wife.
Go get in the field.
Okay. I'm not really even keeping this one guy busy.
Yeah. Lay him off and go get in the field.
Okay. And then
like, why are you in the office?
Probably because I don't want to, probably because me getting out of the office was such a big deal that now that I'm here, or excuse me, me getting out of the field was such a big deal that now that I'm here, I don't want to regress. Because that's how it feels. It's like I'm taking a step back, and that's just failure in my brain.
No, it's not failure. It's winning.
Yeah, because
failure is staying in the office, not making a profit, because the business has to pay you when you're not producing any money.
Yeah.
Relying on one person to bring in the income for the company.
What if he's like super awesome and I don't want to let him go because it's really hard to find good people?
Spend more on marketing and make both of you busy.
That's scary though. I don't really have a whole lot of money.
Well, lay off the awesome guy, go get in the truck, bring some money in. Like, you're not doing the guy that you hired, no matter how awesome he is, and you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, I am very stressed out right now.
Neither of them are winning.
That's what it feels like.
The guy that's out in the field, you can't provide a decent place for him to work. Like, chances of you can't grow your business and provide more opportunity for him. By keeping him there, you're doing him a disservice.
Yeah.
That's how I would view it.
Yeah, sometimes you really do just have to step back.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, if I don't do this, I'm probably just going to end up running out of money. He's going to leave, and I'm going to go back in the field anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, I kind of think that, or maybe it works out and I find money to invest in marketing, but it seems like that's just, like, I don't have that ability in this scenario because I don't have any cash to just dump in there.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like I'm going to regress anyway in my brain.
Yeah. Like, if I was talking to this person, I would say, okay, how much cash do you have?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be one of my questions.
Yeah.
I'd say, okay, how much revenue is your one technician bringing in? Let's look at your P&L. Let's look at your gross margins.
What if I told you that I didn't have a P&L?
Then I'd say, okay, you need to fix that first.
Yeah, okay.
Because you need to be able to look and say, like, in this instance, what your P&L would tell you would be, if we looked at this guy's P&L, if he was priced properly, we would look at his revenue.
He's priced properly, by the way.
Okay, we would look at his revenue, total revenue, and we would look at his COGS. We would see that they're within percentages, and we would look at his gross profit margin, and we'd be like, okay, your gross profit margin is pretty good. And then I would scroll all the way down to the bottom, net profit on the bottom, and it was 0. I'd be like, okay, you have too much overhead for how big your business is.
Yeah.
And I would say, how many guys you got out in the field?
I'd be like, 1.
And I'd be like, actually, I can look at this revenue and tell you how many guys you got out in the field. So what are you doing? Oh, you're in the office? That's why your overhead's too fat. That's why none of it's making it to the bottom. So you have 2 choices. You have to cut overhead somewhere.
Sure.
Or increase revenue on the top end.
Yeah.
You can solve both of those if you pull out of overhead and go be the technician and bring in more revenue for yourself. So unless that business had just a ton of ridiculous overhead costs,
I don't think it does.
Then you don't have much option.
Yep.
It's the only option.
Yep.
It's blatantly clear once you look at the P&L.
Yep.
It's like, okay, cool.
Man,
That's why the P&L is so important.
Yeah, I watched did you watch Alex Shimosi's? He released a video like last week. It was on CAC and lifetime gross profit.
No.
He said something in there, and I wish I could remember the exact quote because it was really good. But it was just it was like, if you don't know your numbers, you cannot scale.
No.
Like, and if you don't, he said actually 2 things on that podcast that was good. The first one being, if you don't know your numbers, you can't scale.
Yep.
And the second one being, he says, I know how to scale businesses and I can talk about all this because I understand the vocabulary of business very, very well. So that is why I can do this, which I think is how you can communicate things well, whether it's on this podcast or just on content, because you understand the vocabulary very well, that you can take concepts, turn them into pictures, turn them into images that people can understand.
I got you fooled.
Well, you're a really good fooler. Man,
Thanks.
You're a good servicer and a good fooler.
Thanks, I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, anytime.
You are correct. It was on that same note, like talking about scaling. This is totally off topic, but talking about scaling your plumbing business. So we just adopted, we didn't just, it was a while ago, but we adopted a $99 a year membership at the advice of Billy Stevens. He's been touting it for a while, and I was like, you know what? This makes so much freaking sense. It's retarded to not do it. So we completely switched our membership around. One of the best things I've ever done. And I was like, okay, if you took that membership model and you started a business, it's just you, one technician, which is something we haven't touched in here, but we really should touch on memberships.
Oh, sure.
If you sell a $99 a year membership where the person that signs up gets special benefits, just like Costco,
Right, sure.
right?
Just like
Costco's
Amazon.
membership is a multi-billion-dollar a year revenue source. And when you ask the founder of the Costco where he makes all his money, he said, I make all my money on selling plastic cards. That's it. He makes money on just selling access to certain benefits. For them, it's you get in their store and you get to buy stuff at bulk at a discount, right? You can do the same thing with your plumbing business. You get priority scheduling, 10% off, and waived service call fees.
Sure.
People will pay you $99 for that. No problem.
Yep.
You will sell asinine amounts of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's $100 a year. That's like cheaper than any subscription you're paying for right now.
Yeah. So I mapped this out this morning. I was just working on this. If you took a one truck Chuck and he was priced properly and he put that membership system in place and he just took 1 year and went out in the field and he sold 250 memberships. Okay. And at the end of the year, he had 250 memberships. And so we hired another technician. Now there's 2 technicians. And so then for another year, those 2 techs, they go sell another 500 memberships between the 2 of them. At the end of the year, you have 750 members and 2 technicians. So now you jump to 3, right? And you play this out. And at the end of year 5, if you just grow at the rate that you can sell memberships, which means, well, let me finish. If you just grow at the rate that you sell memberships, for every person, there's 250 memberships. You hit I think it's just under 10 million, over 9.5 in revenue for the year 5.
Just in memberships?
No, in revenue.
Oh,
because
sorry, yeah.
It's like a 500,000 or 600,000 in membership revenue.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which will pay your advertising costs.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure, yeah.
So what it is, it's like a infinite customer acquisition loop, right? Every time you sell a customer, they're paying you $99, so you can advertise to a new customer and get another member that pays you $99, so you can go advertise to a new customer. And if you grow at the rate that you sell memberships, at year 3, you start doubling your business every single year. And the new members are paying for your advertising costs to double your business just by selling a membership. It's a super powerful tool for growth.
Is there any like entry level tool that can help you keep track of memberships just right off the get go? Or do you need to get into software?
You need to get into software. And that's why we're going to get into software today. And I used to have it at step 8 in this, thing I got here. And now I would almost move it up just so you could sell memberships because you wouldn't have to sell that many memberships to pay for your software.
Right.
Like if you get on Service Titan, I think you can get a really good deal in the first 6 months, BTW. If you just argue with them, tell them you have 3 technicians and be like, look, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. They'll hit you with their promos. The first 6 months will almost be free, to where a year of it is about the same cost as House Call Pro.
Gotcha.
Which ends up being like $300 a month. So if you sold 3 memberships every month,
sure,
Service Titan's paid for.
Which seems pretty likely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 3 memberships. If you can't sell 3 memberships a month, like you might not have any work.
When we switched to a $99 a year membership, we were selling them we're still selling them like crazy.
Yeah.
Just asinine amounts. Opened up, it was like one of those unlocks in my business.
Sure.
It was like, bam. It was cool. So in the beginning, my opinion now is like, okay, let's get you a halfway decent brand, whatever you can afford, and let's get you priced right. Let's get you marketed, and let's get you on software.
Sure, yeah.
And you might struggle for a few months.
What do you mean by struggle? Like,
I mean,
no
like
food in my mouth kind of struggle?
No, things might be a little tight. You might have to float some payments on your credit card for a month or two.
Sure.
But it's not going to be the end of the world.
It makes me really uncomfortable, Jared. I'm kind of like a cash guy.
Yeah. I don't understand that. Sorry.
What are you talking about? You don't understand that. I'm uncomfortable.
Like
with
guys want to pay their vans in cash. It's like you just took 50 grand that you could have invested in marketing to grow your business and create way more money. Like you're trying to save money by not paying the interest, paying your van in cash and reducing your risk. But really you increased your risk and reduced your cash on the other end, right?
Right. How did I increase my risk?
So if you pay your van in cash, right, you're getting rid of the risk of maybe not being able to make your payment.
Exactly.
Yes. Very minimal risk that you're not going to make your payment if you own a plumbing business, because it literally takes like one job to make your payment.
Sure, if you're priced properly.
And you have 30 days to get that one job, right? It's like, it's retarded.
Yeah, sure. In the even if, like, obviously not advocating for this, but even if I'm not priced properly, chances are in 30 days I will hit a job that can pay my van payment.
Yeah. So the risk is really low. And then your interest payment, if you have an expensive van, maybe it's in the beginning like $400 a month, $500 a month even in interest that you're paying in the beginning, because you're paying more interest in the beginning, less principal, right? Now, if you would have taken that 50 grand and dumped it into branding and marketing, if it created 10 jobs a month at $1,000 average ticket, that's $10,000 a month. And if you did that for 6 months, that's 60 grand that you just made. And you sold memberships and created customers that are going to use you again, and you're growing this machine that is eventually going to make you millions of dollars. The risk of not doing that far outweighs the risk of not being able to make your van payment.
So you're saying you'd be uncomfortable with me?
It's riskier to take your cash and use it on something that saves you a little bit of money instead of using it on something that makes you a ton of money.
Yeah.
Right? The risk on that end is much higher. But people don't think about that because they don't think it's possible a lot, but it is.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean it's not possible to bring in the cash flow to sort of support whatever payment I have on my van?
Well, they've never been there, right? So when you're a one truck chuck and you worked a job, you're used to getting a paycheck. You're used to, hopefully you're used to putting money in savings and then never wanting to see that money disappear.
Right. Because your safety net is how safe you feel is relative to how large that savings account is.
Right. When you grow a business, you're not just getting a paycheck and taking some of it and using it for your food and rent and whatever your monthly bills, and then putting some away in a savings account. You are using the money you're making to grow your business to create more income down the road.
Right.
And the way you survive isn't necessarily on a paycheck, it's on cash flow.
Sure.
Right? It's on the cash consistently coming in so that you can use it as you get it to grow your business.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
It's different.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of
They're
like,
not used to it.
yeah. Like,
They don't know. They don't understand it yet. They haven't seen it work.
within the business system, cash flow seems to be like the fuel, the energy, the gas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pay off your van, you just don't you can't put very much gas in your tank. And so then,
Yeah, I would rather have that 50 grand in the bank.
sure. Yeah.
So just think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Get a loan,
Mm-hmm.
keep the 50 grand in your bank, and it gets rid of all the risk for 50 payments.
Sure. Yeah. That's a lot of payments. That means I have a long time.
You have 50 weeks now to go figure this plumbing business thing out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get rid of your cash and you don't have a van payment, now you have neither.
Yeah. Now I just have a van.
Now you have a van
Yeah. Yeah.
and no cash.
But I own the van, Jared. It's
Yeah.
my van.
Yeah. It's silly.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we're at the point where we're going to hire some technicians.
Okay, cool. We got marketing in place, ideally.
Hiring your first few techs is probably the hardest because you don't know.
Wait. Did we we hired a CSR last episode.
You hired
Yeah, we
CSR last time, yeah. Yeah, you have a CSR at this point. Somebody to answer your phones. You're busy as all get out running jobs, and you're having to move people, and you're losing jobs.
Yeah, I
left
don't
and
want to
right.
hire somebody if I'm not busy, right?
Right? No.
Okay.
No.
What if my back hurts really bad?
Get over it.
Okay.
Like go exercise in the morning or something, right? Unless you have a ton of cash, then it's a different story.
Sure, yeah, cash
Right?
will always make things a little
If you
bit
have
different.
cash, then yeah, sit in the office and hire another technician.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Sure.
But if you don't have cash, you have to be the one that creates that cash flow.
Of course.
Until you have enough people out in the field to create enough cash flow to pay for you to sit in the office.
Got it.
That's how it works.
Got it.
Okay. And one technician ain't going to do it. It's typically like 3.
Yeah.
3 is typically what it takes
Yeah.
for you to go chill in the office.
Gotcha.
Okay. What you're doing when you hire people is you're trying to buy back your time, right? So when we hired a CSR, we bought back some of our time because we don't have to do these tasks anymore. When you hire a technician, the first one, technically what you're doing is you're buying their time so they can go make money, so you can go make money as well.
Yeah.
Once you hire your third one and they're creating an income, that's when you're really buying back your time and pulling out of the field and going into the office and playing general manager, okay? But just think of it as you're buying back your time.
Gotcha.
You're buying other people's time so you can work on higher leverage tasks, okay?
Yeah.
So the first two, it's like I'm hiring them so I can create more revenue. That's the higher leverage task. The third one, so I can get in the office and I can work on other things like the rest of these steps, okay? I used to say if you're rescheduling or moving jobs 2 to 3 times a week, you should hire a guy. I think you should wait until you're just balls busy.
Gotcha.
And
how will you know this? Is this like a feeling, intuition type of thing or what?
no, if you're booked out, right? You're booked and you're losing enough work to have another guy there taking up the work that you're missing.
Why are you missing work?
Because you literally can't get to it all,
Gotcha.
right?
Sure, you're booked out. You go to a job, you sell some work, and then your CSR has to move that person to tomorrow. By the time you get to them, they're already been serviced by another company.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Okay, so when that is happening
instead
pretty
of-
consistently.
Yeah, very consistently. Instead of losing the work or having to push customers way out or instead of booking 2 weeks out,
Yeah.
then hire another guy so that you can get to people faster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Your constraint. I mean, we could think in my mind, we think about it as calendar availability. Like your scheduling availability is now gone. So your limiting constraint is your time.
Yeah.
How do you get more time? Just like you said,
If you're booked out a week and you hire another guy, you're going to be booked out 2.5 days.
yeah. That's scary though. to me,
Perfect.
because now I'm scared because what if I can't fill those other days?
You will.
Okay.
If you've consistently filled a week for weeks on end, you're going to consistently fill 2.5 days for weeks on end.
What if just something breaks though?
It happens. but that's why you need a little bit of a cash buffer.
Okay.
So ideally, you would work out in the field by your lonesome, generating revenue, putting cash in the bank, keeping your expenses low, only spending on the absolute necessities, right? Things that push your business forward. And hopefully you're super efficient because you care a lot. This is typically what we find.
Yep.
Like Daniel, the dude in our course, did $100K a month. It's pretty good. And you're going to be able to put away cash pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah. Because you're like realistically, your overhead and expenses are pretty gosh darn low.
Yeah. So for me, like when I did this, I had a CSR. I bought Service Titan, but didn't use it because I didn't have time.
Jared, you didn't make the time.
I didn't make the time. No, I was busy working, generating revenue.
Yeah.
I was balls to the walls. And in 3 months, I put away like 80 grand, stacked it away in the bank account.
In the mattress. Yep. I know.
Yep. And then plus I'd already bought another van and I got a shop. It was cold where I was at. I needed a shop. It was like 40 below. There was I couldn't even get the other van ready without a shop.
Yeah.
And so 80 grand. And that's when I hired my first technician. Do you need 80 grand? If you're priced right, no. Back then I was still too cheap.
Sure.
Which is crazy that I was able to put away 80 grand. I put away 80 grand charging like $250 an hour.
Oh, dude, you were. Yeah,
but I
that was
billed
real
out
cheap.
like all my time.
Yeah, sure. You were very efficient.
Yes. And then I didn't raise my rates until later. So a lot of that 80 grand disappeared.
Yeah.
Because I was still undercharging. Yeah. So I would say if you're super confident on your pricing, then yes. But to be
yes to having less money in the bank than 80 grand.
Yeah. For me to be super confident on my pricing though.
Oh, at this stage in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's as like, the one truck Chuck who's
it's like, okay, how much money do I need? Well, if your pricing is correct, then you could grow this business with, 30 or 40 grand at the bank.
Sure.
No problem. And you could put 30 or 40 grand in the bank away in a month.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
once you're busy.
Again, if we think about Daniel doing 100K, like he's probably putting like, what would you say, like 40 or 50 in the bank just on those months?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's a lot of cash that you can stack away very, very quickly.
Yeah. And so now we need to take that cash and grow. Yep. So increase marketing budgets.
What if I want to take a vacation?
Van. Don't do it.
Okay.
Take a vacation once you get this grown.
Okay.
I mean, you can take a vacation, but it's gonna hurt your business. Like you're in this phase of growing your business.
Yeah, you're keeping your head down and you're keeping your eye on the prize down the road, which is a business that's a valuable asset to you. Yeah, that can be sold, that can just cash flow you. Like you have to push on this thing so you can get to this point where you can sort of not necessarily relax, but just shift, maybe downshift into a lower gear.
You can take all the vacations you want once you have grown this thing to a point where you don't need to be there every day.
Yeah.
Then go vacation.
Yeah. So just delay your gratification.
Delayed gratification. Okay. So you got some money in the bank. You're going to hire a guy. The first 2 to 3 guys it's tough to find guys. Like you got to be aggressive because nobody wants to come work for you.
How come?
Because you're a startup company.
What if you got a really good beard?
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how cool you look. It doesn't matter how awesome your van wraps are. If it's just you and you're in a truck, most people don't want to come work for you.
Because they're going to look at you and think what?
Most guys want security. They want, like at the end of the day, they want to know that they're going to get their paycheck on Friday. And you look like you're not going to get their paycheck there possibly. Like it's not a sure thing. You have no history of getting employees' paychecks.
Sure. Right? You're kind of like a guy with no credit score trying to get a big old bank loan.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like what you're trying to do.
The bank's like, I don't know, maybe.
So you need to be really persistent at getting guys, at talking to them when you're at the parts store, introducing yourself, letting them know you're going to be hiring, putting the bug in their ear, talking to your friends, talk to your buddies who are plumbers.
What sort of vibe should you have when you do this? Should you be happy or sad or?
Definitely be happy. Always, no matter what's going on in your company, when you're at the parts store, your company is freaking exploding and you are making so much money and you can't wait to hire guys so they can make money too.
How much does like let's say your social media advertising, for example, might impact this perception that your company is exploding?
A lot. So just like your customers judge a book by its cover. So when your customers are searching for your company and you look like a cheap company, cheap customers are going to call you. If you look like an expensive company, expensive customers are going to call you, right? Or customers who want expensive plumbing, right?
Or they just want a reliable
quality.
thing. Like, yeah, they just want the thing to be good.
Right. Plumbers are going to do the same thing.
Sure.
If you're driving around in a junky van and you open your van, it's a disaster and full of junky tools.
Yeah, like 12 burger wrappings fall out. And
guess what's going to happen?
Going to get people trying to eat your burgers.
I didn't even listen to the first half of that, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's okay. It's mostly for me at this point.
So, like, when you start making some money, invest, like, wrap your van, make it nice. Buy a big, nice new van. Fill it with all the fanciest Milwaukee tools.
Sure, because you kind of want this vibe when, again, you're at the parts store, that when you're talking to people just about how life is, you're networking, quote unquote. Really, you're just making connections. You also want them to be like, dang, Jared's got like a bunch of cool stuff in his van now. Like, what's happening?
Let them know. You come work for me. I give you a credit card. You get whatever you want. Any tool you need, you go buy it. If you need it, if it makes you faster, if it makes you more efficient, you go buy it.
Yeah, because you trust these guys.
Yeah. That's what you can offer that the big companies don't.
Oh, trust. Dude, actually 100%.
Trust.
Wait. Should I take out those 3 cameras I have in the van that are monitoring the people driving it?
So I never got the dash cams. I kind of got
liability
for liability,
other
reasons,
drivers,
other drivers, and that kind of stuff. But people putting like GPSs and junk on their vans, I don't know. I'd rather, to me, you're spending money on trying to save something instead of spending money on creating more.
And it can communicate.
And it's not just money; it's time and energy.
Oh, especially
focused on that instead of the other, right?
Yeah, just for like a 1-minute tangent. I mean, if you're a company who is worried about your technicians doing shady stuff, like there's a whole thing in there, but like the way that you really can communicate that you're an unsure boss is by trying to monitor everything your techs are doing.
Yeah, and it's like, so they steal some tools or steal some parts and you find out and then fire them. The loss on the stuff is not that big of a deal. Your vans are insured, so who gives a crap?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like what you don't realize is that if you put like monitoring equipment in your vehicles or whatever, then like now you have to have some of your time that's supposed to be paying attention to that. Because you just made a pretty sizable investment in like monitoring. Now, if you don't use it, you would be stupid. So now you feel like you need to use it. And now you just have this time block of like, I guess I'll go check the logs.
So now you overcomplicated your business.
Yeah, and then now you're gonna go talk to Jim because he made an unplanned stop at the grocery store. You know.
So what's funny about that? I worked for a company that, when I was working there, they put GPS trackers in all the vehicles, and the guy I was working for is actually my GM now. He was like, "Screw you," and he ripped that thing out.
Yeah, he would.
And I would. My stance on it was like, I don't care if they know where I go, right?
Sure.
If they don't like where I'm going, then I don't have to work here.
From Eddie's perspective, what was it? Like, what really?
It was like a breach of it was like a breach of his rights, right? So when because we drove the vehicles home, he's like, when I'm done working, it's none of your business where I go after that point.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you know where I go in the middle of the day. You might not like it. But
what are you going to do about it?
If you try to stop me, I'm just going to go work somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
So at the end of the day, the GPSs did them no good whatsoever.
Yeah, it just inspires a weird vibe.
Yeah, I would understand like if you lived somewhere where vehicles are getting stolen and you needed to find them or something. Like if you got a good reason, sure, but
sure, yeah.
Don't do it for a dumb reason. Okay. The first few guys are hard. I'm just going to say it. You got to be really diligent.
Yeah, you kind of have to sell. You have to sell that your place is a place that you can take care of these guys. You're doing something. And I think that comes through with how you communicate to people when you run into them.
Yes. Just like you have to sell your customers, you have to sell your employees as well.
Yeah.
You
have to keep selling them too.
You have to keep selling them. my wife's aunt's husband. So
Dogs,
her uncle,
cousins,
my
chickens,
uncle-in-law,
Okay.
he owns a cabinet shop, like a custom cabinet shop. And I remember when I first started my business, he was up in Fairbanks. And he told me, you know, you really got to sell yourself to your customers, and you got to sell your company to your employees. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Turns out he was right.
Yeah.
Smart guy, cool guy. Okay, hiring technicians. You got that. When you hire technicians, it's really important that you set expectations up front. So sit down and think about it for a minute, right? Okay, what time are they going to start work? What do I expect out of these guys? What standards am I going to hold them to? How much revenue do I need them to produce? How do we go about, how do we go about doing your job? So you need to take everything that you've been doing for the last couple of months and put it into an employee agreement so that when you hire that guy, it's clearly stated what the expectations are, how he's going to be measured, what time he starts work, what time he takes lunch, all that good stuff is laid out. If you join our coaching program, you get all that with it.
So you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel.
So you don't have to try to figure that out. It's definitely worth it, by the way. Okay. Once you're hiring technicians, like I said, you're going to hire techs, but you're going to keep working. So you're going to bring in more revenue. You're going to put more money away. You're going to take that money that you put away and you're going to spend it on marketing so you can hire more techs, so you can make more money, so you can spend more money on marketing, so you can hire more technicians. Okay. You're going to slowly bump up those marketing budgets and hire technicians at the same time.
How many people do you think miss that step right there? The spending more money, dumping it back into marketing?
A lot.
Yeah. I kind of think so too.
Yeah. So many people just miss the marketing altogether. And I'll tell you what, we probably talked about this on the last one, but hire a freaking marketing company that works with home service businesses. Don't hire some random marketing company that doesn't work with home service companies. They don't understand the home service world.
Right.
And so they're like a company that would even take on a home service company when they don't have any other home service companies means they don't have any systems or processes in their company to make sure the fulfillment happens.
They're just kind of winging it.
They're recreating it for each individual customer, customized, right? Whereas a company that deals with home service companies, a legit one, a good one, and we talked about them on the last podcast. You can go listen to it. We made 3 recommendations that you can go to that I know that will do a good job for you. And when you hire those guys, they have a system and a process that they run you through that works for home service companies.
Right.
And if you do it and you stick with it long enough, it'll work for you.
And if you have a business that is set up properly.
And you have a business that is set up properly, priced properly, can answer phones properly, book jobs properly, take care of customers properly, then it will ROI.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the game until you get to that like third technician.
Sure.
Okay. You're going to play that game until you get to the third technician. Once you have 3 guys out in the field, if you're priced properly, they're going to bring in enough revenue for you to pull into the office.
Gotcha. And is that pretty standard, 3 guys, if they're priced properly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
For the most part. Because if you think about it, a 3-man shop costs about $1 million to run. And so if you got 2 guys out in the field and they're bringing in, the cost to run the 2-man shop, if you're in the office, it still costs the same.
Right.
Like the third guy costs you maybe another 60 to 100K, but that's the only increase in cost when you bring that third guy on.
Yeah, everything
but he can
else.
increase revenue anywhere from like $500 to $1 million.
Yeah.
500,000 to $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So that third guy is the one who actually makes you the money.
Right. Everybody else is just trying to get you so you just break even on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like making profit.
The only reason you make money before your third guy is if you're one of the guys out in the field.
Yeah.
It is the only way. If you pull out too soon, all of the profit will go towards paying you
Right.
the owner, and you won't have any left over, and you won't be able to grow your business because you don't have any money to spend on marketing.
Right. So oh my gosh, then you'll just be stuck.
You're stuck in a cycle, and it sucks.
Yeah. Huh.
And you don't have to do that for very long if you recognize that and you stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can get out of it really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get out of it too early, you're screwed.
Mm.
If you did get out of it too early, you got to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Or find another way to get money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something.
Yeah. Seems like a hard game to go find another way to get money. You're already doing plumbing stuff. You might as well just like
go get in the truck.
Yeah.
The owner can go get in the truck and produce so much revenue.
Yeah, because he's the best.
They're going to produce way more revenue than anybody in the field. And you're going to be able to stack cash really fast and then hire guys, reinvest in marketing, and get out of that truck. It's the fastest way for you to get out of the truck and be profitable.
Gotcha.
Is to go back in. And
what happens if I'm still out in the field and I got like 4 guys, Jared? What's going on here? I got 4 guys. How come I can't? Every time I pull out, I just run out of money.
You're not priced right. There's that. That's a lot to unpack because you could be priced right, but you don't have enough work.
Sure.
Right. You're running too lean.
Right.
Have too many guys is really what it would be.
Yeah.
So your guys are sucking up your money, right?
Would you be able to like look at a snapshot of that guy's P&L and deduce pretty quickly like where the constraint would be?
Yeah, because labor costs would be too high. Revenue wouldn't be high enough.
Yeah.
And so we would dive in and we'd say, okay, how come their revenue's low? How are you pricing yourself? Oh, okay, you're priced pretty well. So how many jobs did you do last month?
Right.
What's your call volume like? Like it goes into like, okay, how many calls did you get in? How many of those calls were bookable? Out of the ones that were bookable, how many did you book?
Sure.
Like, do you really suck at booking calls or do you just suck at answering your phone? Like you wouldn't believe how many people just don't answer their phone.
Oh, I believe it. I call a lot of people.
Yeah. Just answer your phone and like a lot of that problem would probably get solved. They'd book more jobs. They'd have more jobs to go to. Their conversion rates would go up and they would make more money. And then all of a sudden their labor rate on their P&L would go down because now their revenue is up and gross profit would be good and it'd be a whole new world. So it could be any like link in the chain, right?
Sure.
Maybe they're booking enough jobs, but then their guys don't convert any of them.
Sure.
Right? Maybe they don't have a sales process. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen.
Sure. Okay, fair.
All things you need to know.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of that comes down to the better you are at understanding your numbers and your P&L, the better that you can sort of spot these things with, well, you'll spot them with data to back up your theories.
You need to understand your numbers. You need to understand your P&L, and you need to understand the basic level system inside your business.
You have to become literate in the vocabulary of your business.
Yeah. If you feel like you have a problem in anything we just discussed and you don't understand the actual like systems of your business, I believe the podcast 2 episodes before this, we talked about the 4 systems you need in your business. I break it down into 4 parts. It's like you have a marketing system, you have a call center system, you have a fulfillment system, technician system, and you have a follow-up system. If you can do, and you have a financial system. So there's really 5. If you can do those 5, and I think we covered all 5 on the podcast. So. And if you can do all 5 of those and do what we're talking about today, plus what we talked about the other day, you'll kill it.
Sure, yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's
for the most part.
If you put together a really good bicycle and then you just know how to ride a bicycle because you're a really good bicycle rider, you're going to ride that sucker pretty good.
Yeah. But if you put together a crappy bicycle,
doesn't matter how good you are at
riding your bike.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to ride.
If you forget the tires, it's going to just sit in my driveway.
Yeah.
My son's going to laugh at you.
Yeah, and that's what most people try to do.
Sit in my driveway?
No.
Oh.
Ride a bike.
Oh, yeah.
We'll say with no handlebars. Do you remember that song?
I do, yeah.
Dude, that was like a cool song. That was like right when Obama was running for president.
Oh, man.
That was funny. Who sang that?
No idea. They remind me of Cake, but I don't think it was Cake.
No, it definitely wasn't Cake. They were like one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
It was because that album was pretty good, and then everything from there on out was terrible.
Yep, I don't know, but I know the song.
Yeah. Okay. Now, once you get some techs and you pull out and you're in the office, all of a sudden you have more time.
Yeah. What's our focus now?
You're still focused on cash, okay, for the next couple steps, because there's some things you need to do. If you've got 3 guys out in the field and you're priced right and you're pulled in the office and you haven't set up a good brand from the beginning, now is the time to take some of that money you're making and go rebrand.
Sure.
So go get a new brand.
Wait. When I rebrand, am I going to like lose all my customers because they're going to be confused that now it's
No,
like...
you're going to use marketing to educate them that you're changing your name. If you're changing your name, hopefully you're not. You're just changing your logo.
Okay.
But you're gonna show it on your social medias. You're gonna, same name, new logo, same great service, new look, whatever. You're gonna use terms like that.
Sure.
In your marketing to educate your customers that it's the same company.
Got it.
Nothing's changed.
Same great service,
Same
all
great
the
service,
stuff.
same great people.
We just look cooler.
We just look cooler. I would say it like that too, because it's different than everybody else.
We just look exquisite. Excelsior.
So you're going to go rebrand. If you want to rebrand, you can go to Mammoth Marketing has a rebranding package. I don't know where to go for their website. Kickcharge Creative does rebranding, and Prolific Design does rebranding. Those are the 3 off the top of my head that I know will do. I've seen good brands come out of all of those companies, all different price points. I'd say Kickcharge is probably the best, but I know they're the most expensive as well. I know Prolific and Mammoth will do a just fine job. You'll be able to grow however big of a company that you want.
Right.
So go get that done. And then when you get your brand done, they're going to design vehicle wraps. And then you need to go get your wraps done and then get your branding out on your website, your social media, get all that stuff updated. Get all your new social media posts updated with your new branding, so on and so on. Roll it out across the board, okay? And really own that brand. Okay. At this point in time, then I would build my price book.
Yes, the fabled price book. The
solution fabled price book.
Everybody's problem is within the price book.
Everybody wants a freaking price book.
Yes,
and they don't need it.
Beautiful piece of Plumber.
So up to this point, if you haven't had time to build a price book, which is fine, you're literally just going to people's houses and you're saying, okay, my hourly rate is this, my material markup is this, and you're doing the math on site and you're presenting the price to the customer.
There you go.
And your guys are more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, but I don't want
3 guys.
Jared, I don't want them to know how much our hourly rate is. What if they get scared?
You have to be transparent with your technicians.
Yeah.
Transparency is key. If they understand how the business operates, they can help the business operate.
Yeah, but what if they know that we're like making good money?
That's the point.
Oh.
They need to know you're making good money. The key here is to put a system in place where everybody makes good money at the same time so that your goals are aligned. So I told this to my son this morning. It was, what was it? Good people are good, but a good system is gooder.
That's so funny. It's like the
that?
same thing that we. What did Costin say when you said that?
But check this out. A good system with good people in it is gooder.
Ah, gooder.
Gooder. It's literally the secret to a good business.
Dude, there's so many t-shirts in this episode.
If you had like 50% good people and 50% just decent people in a good system, watch out. Your business is going to make tons of money. Okay? So when you have these guys, you have to put them on some sort of commission structure. Number one, you have to make sure that commission structure gets paid out legally in your state.
Because every state's going to have
every
different
state's
stuff.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
But ideally, this is what we do. We say, and it's all based on math. We didn't just pull numbers out of our butt.
Why don't you just copy so-and-so's company?
We didn't copy somebody's company. It's all mapped out on a spreadsheet, right? So we know exactly what's going to happen.
Is the spreadsheet on the internet?
No.
Oh.
It's in the coaching program.
Oh, well, I mean, like, do I have to use the internet to use a spreadsheet?
Oh.
Computers are intimidating.
You have to use a computer.
Oh, crap.
If you don't know how to use it, Go watch YouTube. There's literally no excuse. If you're broke, it's your fault.
Can I watch YouTube on the same thing I watch TikTok on?
Depends on what you watch TikTok on.
My 42-inch plasma.
I mean, yeah, you can actually. you can watch YouTube on whatever you want, actually. Anything you watch TikTok on.
Okay.
Take the time you're spending on TikTok and go spend it on YouTube learning how to use a spreadsheet. That would be a really good use of your time.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Dude, what? You always like get me off topic.
We're talking about commission.
know.
We're talking about commission structures.
I was over here and then now I'm way over here.
You were thinking about how I made a fun joke about 42-inch plasma.
I've never heard you make a good joke in my entire life.
You know,
and I'm pretty sure
I'm working really hard on it.
If we work together for the next 40 years, I'll probably never hear a good joke in the next 40 years.
Okay, well now I have a life mission.
I
got 40 years now to get a good joke.
You're welcome.
And
you got a purpose now.
Oh, thank God. I've been looking for that. Oh, I can't wait to tell my wife.
What were we talking about?
Commission structures.
Commission structure.
You want to map it out on a spreadsheet.
Map it out on a spreadsheet.
So you don't screw yourself, essentially.
At least one of us has a brain.
Dude, that's what I'm here for. Somebody's got to be the brains. You know, you always say at the beginning, you're the beauty. So I guess that makes me the brains.
Dude, I mean, look at this beard.
That's a pretty good beard.
How could you not be the beauty?
My beard kind of goes like this. Your beard kind of does this.
We were on you gotta go to the barber. He'll like cut this down.
Yeah, just been not spending any money at the barber. So.
I mean, either. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, well,
it's getting kind of wild. We were on a sales call the other day, and what did I say to that? We had a lady trying to sell us something, and she was like wondering what we do in the company. And I said, Joel just uses me for my beautiful beard, my good looks.
Yeah.
She did not.
She was just like, she's probably like, I think these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hopefully she didn't think we were gay or something.
Oh, God.
That would have been
God
weird.
forbid. My wife would have been like, that's probably what she thought.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I worked with a guy who used to pretend like he was gay when we would walk in places. Like
with everybody,
like we were a gay partner, dude. So embarrassing. And I was like, dude, I'm not gonna go anywhere with you anymore.
And he
would
knew
just
that.
he was just dying. He would thought it was so funny
because you knew you were uncomfortable. He had you.
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. Okay, spreadsheet your commission structure. The way we do it at my company is we have a minimum revenue that they have to hit every week, so they get paid weekly. And it's like, hey, if you hit this revenue, anything over that, you get a 10% commission on.
Sure.
What that does is by having that revenue minimum, the more they produce, the less their pay is as a percentage of the revenue that they brought in. So the more they produce, the more they get paid, but the more you get paid as well.
Okay.
And they can get paid a lot and you can get paid a lot. And then there's no cap on that. There's no limit to how much they can make. It's solely based on how much revenue they bring in for the company. And that's key because if there's a cap or a limit, you're going to set the cap to where it's unachievable and it's going to make the commission lame.
What do you mean?
Because like what'll happen is you'll say, okay, I'm going to cap them so that they can't make more than 70 an hour. And if I'm going to pay them 70 an hour, then they got to hit this revenue.
Sure, that's sort of the thinking that goes with it. Because in your mind, you're thinking 70 is a ridiculous amount of money to pay somebody.
Yeah, and then you're going to make the revenue so high that they can't hit it.
Yeah,
is what's
almost like
happen.
out of like what? That's almost like out of spite. Or
No,
like
it's out of fear.
That you'll pay them too much.
It's out of fear, and you haven't calculated the numbers. And
sure,
if you put it in a spreadsheet, you would come up with, I can pay them anything.
Yeah, sure.
If they bill out $3 million a year, why not pay the guy? Like mine drops to like 10%. He makes $300,000, but it's only my labor cost is 10% of the revenue he brought in.
Yeah,
I'll pay that all day long.
Sure,
I'm trying to keep it under 20.
Yeah,
I just got it under 10.
Yeah, so you're good to go. Yeah,
I made an extra 10% on $3 million. I made an extra $300,000 on that guy, right?
Yeah, there's actually an example. I was watching one of the coaching calls we did, and one of our guys brought up this example. Again, it's a guy in Australia, and he was like, oh, he's like, I was just talking to a guy from another company who just left this company. He brought in $350,000 in revenue in 1 month.
Yeah.
And the guy was looking at your commission spreadsheet, and he was like, I was just thinking, how much would he make? This guy who left the company was making like $60 an hour.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any commission on top of that, but it was $60 an hour.
Yeah.
But you scroll down the spreadsheet and you're like, okay, well, he's making about he's bringing in the company about $80,000 per week, which when we translate it over to Australian dollars, this guy would have made he would have had a $40,000 paycheck that month.
Yep. But he brought in 380,000 in revenue.
Yes.
So he's like 11 or 12% of the revenue he brought in.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, because you just made a ton of money. But then can you imagine being that technician and be like, I just hit a $40K month?
Yeah.
Like, what's up, babe? 40,000
He'll
in the
never
bank.
leave.
No.
And he'll tell all his friends, guys, I just made 40 grand last month working at this plumbing company. It's freaking awesome. You got to come over here.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to be like, what? And they're going to, the second their boss pisses them off, guess where they're going?
Yeah, and the thing is people are going to be like, because people think about paying guys interestingly. Typically what I hear is that, well, I'll pay him if I know he'll bring in X amount of dollars, but I just don't know because I don't know how this guy's going to work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start him off really low, and then as he performs, I'm going to increase pay.
Nope. Standardize your pay. Everybody gets paid the same. Everybody gets the same commission. If you want to make more money, well, number one, standardize your pay. Everybody gets the same, right?
Right.
And then say, you have to have accountability in there. I need you to produce minimum at this level.
Sure, yeah.
If you can't work here. And you can math this out so that you know what that is. And then say, if you want to make more money, you produce at a higher level. If you want help producing at a higher level, I'll help you do that. I will get you the training. I will show you how. I will help you get there. Because what that does is now your goal and the employee's goal are aligned. They want to drive revenue and you want to drive revenue.
Because they receive a direct benefit to their work improvement.
Yeah.
Where if they're just at like an hourly or maybe some combination of something where it's vaguely attributed to performance, but it's not it's not a real thing. Like back in like the airline business back in the day, I remember this one time we had a new station manager come on. He's like, all right, boys, well, if all the planes go out on time, tell you what, we'll do a pizza party. And we all looked at him. We're like, first off, that's an impossible goal. And second off, I'm not 12.
That's a lot of work for a couple pieces of pizza.
How about this? I'm going to take a break and go buy a pizza. And then I'll just eat the pizza and I won't have to do this stupid goal that you just, and it just communicated such an arbitrary, like,
it's dumb
disconnection, right? So you have to have like tangible things where the technician is like, oh my gosh. Like,
but here, so when you say tangible things, only have one commission structure and no other way for your employees to make any other money, right? Because the thing is, if you think about it, every single person in your business needs to have the same, they're after the same thing. Yeah. They have two goals. Every single position in your company, they need to drive revenue and drive customer satisfaction. That's it. If they could do those two things successfully within their position, each position is going to do that differently, but that's the goal. If they can do that, your company's going to be successful. Because your two main goals as the business owner is to, like, you get your employees to drive revenue, drive customer satisfaction, and you do it within a system that drives money to the bottom line.
Sure.
Right? You create the system that drives the money to the bottom line. Your employees drive revenue, and they drive customer satisfaction. Okay? So when you align them making more money to driving revenue and driving customer satisfaction, everybody's working towards the same thing.
Yeah.
If you put something in there like, hey, I'll pay you this much money if you take this action and get this end result, outside of that, you start incentivizing them to do something other than drive revenue and drive customer satisfaction, right? So if you're like, hey, I'll pay you $20 for every 5-star review you get your name in, well, now their focus isn't on driving revenue and customer satisfaction. It's on driving 5-star reviews, right? So you're getting away from, like, you want them to do both of those. Revenue, satisfaction. Revenue, satisfaction. That's it. That's all.
Kind of sounds like you're deploying like the rule of one here in the sense where you're giving them two objectives, but it's really like one objective.
It's one thing because you literally can't increase sales, increase close rates, increase how much you bill the customer without them being happy about it. Yeah. If they're not happy about it, they're not going to give you their money.
Yeah.
And so you literally can't do them.
Yeah.
And so you have to show your guys that.
Yeah.
You have to say, hey, I love this phrase. I can't remember where I heard it, but I repeated it to my guys a million times.
Yeah.
Your paycheck is a representation of what the customer thinks of you and the service you provided. If you want a bigger paycheck, guess what you got to do? You got to provide a better service to the customer. That will drive more revenue it will increase their satisfaction and drive more revenue for the company. That's how it's done. That will make your paycheck bigger, which in turn will make my paycheck bigger.
Yeah.
So you can't lose that way. Anytime you get outside of driving those things, you create more problems. Spiffs also will ruin your company culture.
Because then people start optimizing for spiffs.
So it detracts them from the main goal of driving revenue, customer satisfaction, and you create mess of having to count these things.
Oh, yeah.
So it's extra work. Extra work.
Can you imagine like 8 technicians who are doing spiff stuff all the time, and then suddenly you got to like doop, doop, doop. You got to like calculate all this.
Who calculates it?
The person I just hired.
And then the second you mess up that calculation, trust is lost.
I'm suing you.
Yeah. Trust is gone. They're not going to sue you. I mean, they could try, but it'd be weird. But worse than them suing you.
Yeah.
Like, it costs you more money than them suing you is they lose trust in you.
Sure.
As their employer. And your company culture starts to go downhill. And you start having problems with your employees. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's going to cost you way more money than if they just sued you.
Yeah, sure.
So, spiffs are bad. We should probably get back on track here.
Yeah.
We've gotten through 2 steps.
Oh, crap.
Crap, man.
We're screwed.
We're screwed.
Ah, dang it.
Now, we were working on the 3rd one. Okay, build your price book.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Come back to the price book.
So now you're in the office. You have time to work on your price book.
And your commission structure, apparently.
And your commission structure. I'd have that commission structure done before I ever hired anybody.
Oh, yeah. You got to put that back in the pre-hiring step is to work out your commission. Because you can roll that out day one. You don't have to like wait, right?
Yeah, roll it out day one.
And you want to roll it out because you want that person to come in your company recognizing that they can make a ton of cash.
Yep. Here's how we pay our technicians. You ready? Let me explain it.
Yeah.
And then you can show them the spreadsheet that you put it in. You can say, look how much money you can make here. And if you want training on how to do your job super well, here's some training that I'll provide you with.
Yeah.
That you can go through, that you can get better at your job to drive your paycheck higher.
Yeah, then even better if you're like, if you already have a technician, you're like, look at, this is what this technician is hitting. This is what he's making.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is a real world example of, Donnie, who you just met.
Yeah.
Donnie just pulled in $30K this month.
Yeah.
Because he did all this work. So if he can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. I'll have technicians hit over $1 million this year. I bet 3 of them just because of what we talked about.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And they're going to make a ton of money, and I'm going to make a ton of money.
Really developing the system that has as many wins as possible.
Dude, good people are good, but systems are gooder. And good people and good systems are gooder.
Yeah, okay. I want the t-shirt.
Yeah, it's coming.
Come on.
Price book. Don't get crazy on your price book. Just put the bare minimum stuff in there and roll it out to your guys.
Isn't the price book the thing that makes me all the money?
No.
Oh.
The thing that makes you all the money is good systems, good commission structure, being priced right, marketing. Like in your price book, like if you're a plumbing company, go through the house and think of all the plumbing things and then break them down part by part and then put those parts in your price book with an hour value attached to it. It's pretty simple. Hour value and a material value. And then build out a custom task section where your guys can go in and they can select how long they're going to be there, how much the parts are going to cost, and then it pops up a task for them.
Sure.
Price book done.
Gotcha.
If you're an electrical company, do the same thing. But go through the house and think of all the electrical stuff in a house and then break it down part by part. And then everything else, use custom tasks.
Gotcha.
Pretty simple.
How much of your guys end up just using custom tasks
all the time?
Yeah.
All the time.
Would you say they use more custom tasks than just price book elements?
Yeah. And here's why. Because when the way that we price, like if you download this playbook, you can get a free pricing calculator. If you need the playbook, it's in the link in the description. There's a pricing calculator in there plus a bunch more stuff, and it's free. So go grab it. Link in the description, or go to wealthyplumber.com/playbook. Get the playbook. There's a link in the playbook to go to the calculator. There's a video on how to use the calculator, and you get the spreadsheet, and it's free. Like, you have no excuse. If you're not making money in your business, it's all here. If your business is a little bit headachy, it's all here. When you go grab it, you can then book a call with our team, and we can help you like put all this stuff into place, because it can be a little difficult to know where to start, what to put in, and exactly how to put it in. And we can help you with that for literally pennies on the dollar for what it's worth. So we price ourselves a little bit differently than what's in this playbook. If you want that calculator, you got to get in our course, because it needs some explanation.
And it needs some prior understanding. And
yes. And so the way we price is we have 3 different price points in my company. And basically, once we get to so many hours sold in a day, we gain efficiency.
Sure.
It's not a ton, but it's enough to make a difference in price, right? We also gain efficiency on materials, on, higher dollar materials. So like, if you think about guys doing service work, we're really inefficient on materials because it's really hard to predict in a price book what they're actually going to spend on materials, right?
Sure.
It's almost impossible.
Right.
So you have to make up for that in how much you mark up materials. Well, when they're going to a water heater, and the water heater is the majority of the bulk of the items that you're buying, your efficiency on materials go up.
Right.
So if we pass a small bit of that savings on to the customer, and we can price these products a little bit cheaper, our conversion rates go up. Okay. What also happens is if we're at the customer's home and they have multiple things that need fixed, if we were to fix them all one by one, it would be, based on our service pricing, which is more expensive.
Right.
But if we can lump them all together and stay at that home for 6, 7, 8 hours, the cost to get all those repaired in one lump sum goes down. But in order to do that, we have to put all of that into one custom task.
Gotcha.
So that it prices it properly.
Right.
So my guys end up using a lot of custom tasks to show the customer, hey, we can do these individually. Here's what they would cost individually. That would cost you a total of this much to get all this stuff taken care of. If we got it all done today, because we gain efficiency, we don't have to come back and forth to your home. I can do it at this cost. And it's quite a big difference. Like, it might be like $1,000 or $1,500.
Yeah, sure.
And so we end up selling, not only do conversion rates go up on the stuff that we're more efficient at, instead of just selling one task that day and maybe coming back for the other ones, maybe not later, we end up selling all of them all at once. And my guys are there much longer.
Right.
Which our efficiency goes through the roof, which raises gross margins. Overhead stays the same. Net profits get bigger, right? That's how that works.
Gotcha.
So when you're building your price book, make a custom task section. Okay. Once you have your price book built, then you can get on software if you don't have software already. If you're going to get software in the beginning, I would literally build a custom task section. And that's it.
And just rock your custom task section until you have the time to do the price book.
Yeah. In 30-minute increments, like 30 minutes all the way up to 8 hours. And then in there, I'd do like $10, $25, $50, $100, $150, $200, $300, $400, $500, $750, $1,000 for material costs. I'd probably go all the way up to $1,000.
I don't really know what you just said there, because I assume that's like a service titan parameter that you're talking. You're talking in like a service titan language.
Yeah, because what you're going to do is you're going to build your price book, and it's like, okay, you're going to have categories.
Yeah.
So the first category would be custom task. You're going to have subcategories. That would be the hour values.
Okay.
So you'd have a 1 hour subcategory, a 2 hour subcategory, a 3 hour subcategory.
Got it.
Within there, you would have to build a subcategory. So it'd be like if you clicked on the one inside there, there'd be subcategories of material costs. So you would build out all the material costs.
Okay.
And then when you click on the material cost, then it
Sure.
would pull up the proper task, right?
Gotcha.
And the task you would build wouldn't say how many materials were there and how many hours were on it. It would just say like a task code,
Yeah, sure.
and it would have the proper price,
Gotcha.
right? That way your guys wouldn't have to do the math. They could just go select the right thing,
Yeah, sure.
change the description, and get the okay, and you're up and running without having to build a price book.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Okay. And then I would go back and build a price book
Sure.
at this point in the game. And the reason I would want to get on software sooner, number one, you can streamline that process we just talked about. But number two, you can sell memberships.
Right.
$99 a year memberships.
Right.
And you can grow your business from memberships at a crazy rate. It's wild. Because those members become returning customers.
Yes.
So they use you again.
Yes.
You didn't have to market to them. They're already there. It's like, you want to build a recession-resistant business, a market swing-resistant business, sell memberships.
Yep.
It's how you do it. Okay. So once you've got your price book built and you're on Service Titan and you know you've got your membership plan in place.
Real quick, is there other options that you would recommend other than Service Titan?
I don't know. That's the only one I've ever used.
Gotcha.
So, and it's good.
Sure.
It's confusing.
Sure.
Like it's a learning curve. But again, it's a learning curve that if you figure out will make you millions of dollars.
Right. So,
So-
it's probably worth the time invested.
So let's just learn it and look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The best.
Oh, and don't and with that, don't abdicate that responsibility to your office manager, your CSR, your wife, your
No.
cousin, whatever.
No.
It's your business.
Your business, you got to learn Service Titan.
Yeah.
You got to know the gist of it,
Yes.
the basics.
Especially because like at this level, you're going to be still training guys on how to use the thing. It's going to impact your culture if you're like, I don't really know how to use the software.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to communicate certainty to your technicians that you just hired.
You need to understand it. You need to understand what it does, how it works, and how to affect it.
Yeah.
And how it affects your P&L.
Yeah. Your understanding of your business, like the level at which you understand your business is going to dictate the level of your success.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you,
Hands down.
if anything in these podcasts, you're ever like, I don't know what that means.
It's a skill.
Yes, it's a skill.
And what you're doing when you're to make more money, you have to stack skills. So you gained the skill of being a plumber. Now you have to stack the skill of being a plumbing business owner. You have to stack the skill of hiring people. You have to stack the skill of managing people. You have to stack the skill of understanding software. You have to stack the skill of understanding marketing. Stack the skill. Like you're just stacking skills.
Yeah.
That's it. Until you become skilled enough to make the money.
Yeah.
You can't make the money without the skill.
No.
It doesn't work.
No area in life does that really actually work out.
The only way you can do that is if you've already made the money and you can hire the skill.
Yeah. And in this scenario, that's probably unlikely
Very unlikely.
because then you already made a bunch of money doing something else. Then why are you making this plumbing business?
And even at that, you need to understand the basic big picture of what's going on.
And even that, I would say the more you understand the business, the better. Like I've talked to a lot of guys who want to buy a plumbing business, open it up.
Yeah.
Or like, and I talk to these guys and they're really excited because they're business people, you know, of various stripe and accolade. And I noticed very quickly that even talking to them, I'm like, dude, first off, it's business is never easy. And you're trying to do a new business, you have no idea how it runs. So yes, you have business skill in real estate, or yes, you have a business skill in an adjacent industry, but that doesn't mean you're going to be successful here. So don't just walk in here thinking that I'll just go start a plumbing business. It's going right off to the races.
No.
It's like, you still got to know a bunch of stuff, dude. Like it's still risky. The less you know, the more risk you have.
Yeah, it's skill.
Yes.
Yep. If you want to learn those skills, just get in our coaching program.
Yeah.
Skills learned.
Probably the easiest way to do it.
Shabam. Shabam. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. When you get on software, the beauty of the software is not only does it streamline some of your operations, which you're going to need if you want to continue to grow, but it gives you data. Okay. So when you're using Service Titan, you have to learn how to use it properly. Don't create these back-end workarounds. Use the software. so that you have accurate data. I still struggle with that on some things in my company where we created a workaround while we're trying to figure out how to use this properly. And then we figured out how to use it properly. And now we don't have accurate data to look back far enough, which is you're going to have that on some things, but the more you can avoid that, the more you can have accurate data on like, okay, what is my booking rate? And I know it's accurate. What is my average ticket? I know this is accurate. What is my conversion rate? I know this is accurate. Yeah. Very important.
Accuracy of data is huge.
Yes.
And don't just assume that your workaround is superior.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
So the other thing is when you get on Service Titan, and for goodness sakes, just get on Service Titan. Just take my word for it, please. Don't try to use some other software. Like Service Titan is so invested in the game right now.
Sure.
And there's so many big companies using it that they have to continue to make it better.
Yeah, they have a lot to lose if they just suddenly go, we're done now.
Tons.
Like
the likelihood of it like going somewhere or getting worse is extremely low.
Yeah.
So it's your best bet.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're using it, make sure that you're like booking jobs, assigning jobs. If you're still the technician in the field or you have technicians in the field, make sure they're dispatching and arriving and completing jobs properly.
Yeah, using all the things and running it properly.
Yeah, that's probably the most important one right there. That they're actually dispatching, arriving, and completing accurately. Meaning Friday afternoon, they finish their last job, they hit complete before they go home. They don't leave it running all weekend.
Yeah.
Okay? One thing you're going to want to watch on Service Titan is your billable efficiency. When you go to that dashboard and you click on and you're on the technician scorecard, there's a productivity tab and there's something called billable efficiency. And you need that to be 80% or higher.
Okay.
For that to be accurate, you have to accurately dispatch, arrive, and complete your jobs.
I imagine if that guy is running the clock all weekend because he forgot, your billable efficiency probably is going to go down, right?
Yeah, because he's going to have bid the job for, even if he bid it for all day Friday, and then he was there, according to Service Titan, Saturday and Sunday, his billable efficiency went down.
Yeah.
Billable efficiency is how much time you sold versus how much time you actually worked on site.
Yeah, sure.
So if you sold 10 hours, but you were there for 20, your billable efficiency is going to be 50, 50%.
Yeah, because you're like 50% wrong in this case.
Yes, you need 80 minimum. 100 or higher would be ideal. That's what you should be aiming for. Everybody at 100. You need to show your guys your billable efficiency because you need to get them thinking like, oh, I need to bill out for all the time that I actually work on site.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What that tells you right there is number one, do I have enough time on my tasks?
Sure.
Right? If you have pre-built tasks in your price book and your guys are going out and using them and your billable efficiency is 40%, they're taking longer to do the jobs than what you have priced in your price book.
Yeah, so you're not...
So you need to go back and make some adjustments.
Yeah. Where would you see that on your P&L if that was the case?
Your revenues would probably be low.
Okay.
In which case, then you would go dig further. You'd see billable efficiency is low, and you go, oh, I'm working more than I'm selling.
Gotcha.
We got a problem. It will also tell you on your custom tasks if your guys are bidding too low, and you can go back and look at some history, right? You can go look at some specific jobs where they use custom tasks. Say, okay, how efficient were we on these jobs? Oh, Johnny has a problem here, right? You can see it per technician.
Sure.
Okay. Super important.
Yeah, and without good software to show you those things, I can suddenly you're already not playing the game at the level you need to.
Yeah, and when you have custom tasks in your price book, you want your guys to actually bid them accurately. Like you have to train them. Hey, if you think you're going to be there for 5, bid it for 6. Hey, if you think you're going to be over there for 6, bid it for 7, and on, right? And if you try to do that without the commission structure, they're going to underbid it every time.
Sure.
Because the only incentive they have at that point is to get a cheaper price for the customer.
Right.
Because they get paid the same price either way.
Right. Yeah. Because then it's them and the customer versus you, the company.
Yep. But the second you put a commission in where they have no limit, it flips the way they think. And they go, how can I get the customer a price that they're going to accept and a time that I know that I can beat so that I can be as efficient as possible so that my paycheck is bigger, right? That's how they start thinking. How do I add enough value to this customer so they buy the expensive thing that they should buy anyways? And then I can sell more work and make more money on my paycheck.
Right.
That's what they start thinking like. And you have to show them all that stuff. Dude, work podcasting is hard.
Got that right.
I feel like my chair is super low today.
That's what I felt like when I got in here.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Did the desk get taller?
I think I'm just getting smaller. That's what I think.
We're just getting shorter.
I think gravity's increasing, actually.
It's the sunlight.
Yeah, it's stunting our growth.
Okay, so once you have software, right? Like what you're trying to do, your focus for step 8 is really just streamline some processes and start collecting data.
And you're out of the field now.
And you're out of the field.
You have time to do this. You shouldn't be like answering phones. You shouldn't be bidding over the phone. You shouldn't do any weird stuff like that.
All you have to do is manage the 3 technicians that are in the field, build your price book, work on getting on software.
And those technicians should be pretty like
Rebrand.
self-sufficient, right? Like they shouldn't be blowing up your phone every 15 minutes with a question, right?
No. If they are, you got some training to do. Some of that training might just be training them to not call you all the time.
Yeah, and giving them, hey, the answer to your question is here.
Yes.
Check there.
Yep.
Is there anything your CSR can do to like protect your time?
Or
even your attention, we could say, protecting
so
your
they
attention?
can call the CSR to move jobs around and things like that.
Yeah.
They don't need to be bothering you. So anything that your CSR should be handling, you shouldn't handle. You should just redirect them to the right person.
Right.
That way they start learning, oh, I just got to call this person.
And it's probably also important for you not to just sit there and micromanage everything like armchair general style.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, oh, technician like underbid this job today. I'm going to call him right now and tell him that he did it.
You gotta give them some line. You gotta let them hang themselves.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And then you can go back and teach them how to not do it again.
Sure, because then you can have a history of, hey, man, you haven't been doing this one thing well for a little while now. Let's fix this.
Yeah, and that's where service time will come in, and you'll see the data.
Yeah.
You'll know exactly how to help them out.
Oh, and that's so important because then otherwise it's just a you versus their opinion, and then that's a crappy way to have a work-based conversation.
Yeah, much better way is to go, hey, check it out. I got your data here. You're not producing enough revenue. Let's look at your data and figure out why.
Yeah. Let's work together
See if we can help you out. Okay. So that's kind of your focus then. You're streamlining and you're collecting data. Same time, you still need to focus on cash.
Ah, yes.
Cash is still going to be, still going to require focus, okay? That never really goes away.
No.
But it becomes easier at that point. 9 and 10, once you have like these basic systems in place that we talked about, it's like, okay, now let's grow and scale it. So you still need a strong focus on cash, but you have to be willing to push your comfort zone on dollar amounts. Okay. Not necessarily percentages, like marketing budgets, dollar amounts are going to get rather large.
Sure.
But dollar amounts coming in and out of your bank account are going to get larger as well. Swings in your cash are going to be larger, right? Because as your business gets bigger, everything gets bigger with it.
Sure,
okay?
yeah. So you're going to see bigger chunks going out because you have more technicians buying parts, doing all these things, and then you're going to see big chunks coming in. Oh, what about like managing like accounts receivable and stuff like that?
Yeah, have your CSR manage accounts receivable.
Okay. Calling through and collecting payments.
Yeah.
And
anytime she's got downtime, she can be outbound dialing to check up on estimates, offer discounts if you've hit that point, and collecting payments.
It's kind of like an on the call, off the call type of process.
Yeah. At this point, it's like you have the basic systems down for a business. So let's grow this thing.
Sure. Yeah. You got all the right parts and pieces.
And really your goal should be, let's grow this thing to where I have enough technicians in the field to where I can hire a general manager and the business can still be profitable. What that will allow you to do is pull out of the general manager seat and jump into the owner seat. Okay. And then further optimize your business from that point. Okay. When you add, typically it's like 6 or 7 guys out in the field, your business will generate enough income to hire a general manager.
Yeah, because that is going to be like a salaried position that's going to slip into your overhead.
Yep.
Just like your position is in your overhead.
Correct. And so what you're going to do is, and you should map that out on a spreadsheet so that you know when that time is. And you're going to focus on growing. You're going to push your marketing budgets. You're going to hire more guys. You're going to bring in more vans, get more people out billing. And you're going to manage your business until you're bringing in enough revenue and you've got some cash set aside. Like at that point, if you've got 7 guys, like I want a couple $100,000 set aside before I go hire a general manager.
How come?
Because you need safety nets in your business. You never know what's going to happen.
Sure.
The risk is lowered 2 ways: skill and cash in the bank. Right?
Can you offset one with the other?
If you were super skilled, then there'd be less risk. So you wouldn't need as much cash.
Right.
If you had a ton of cash, you'd have a ton of cash, so you wouldn't need to be as skilled.
Yeah.
Right? I would prefer to be as skilled as possible and still have a decent amount of cash in the bank.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
If you have 3 months of just basic expenses in the bank,
including payroll,
that's going to be more than enough.
Okay.
So if you can pay all of your overhead plus your payroll for 3 months, like the chances of you having 0 income for 3 months is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it'll never happen.
Yeah.
So that amount of cash will probably actually last you more like 9 months.
Right.
So if you can have 9 months worth of cash or 3 months worth of, expenses and 7 guys, then I'd be comfortable hiring a GM. As long as you mapped it on a spreadsheet and you're like, we're producing enough revenue, everything's working fairly well, let's get a general manager in here. Especially if you're bad at managing people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Like I wasn't very good at it. Your general manager needs to be somebody who can manage people, and that's it. All the business stuff that you have set up in here, you can teach.
Sure.
It's not that complicated.
Sure.
What you really need is somebody who's good at managing people, making sure, following the systems, making sure your people are following the systems, and ideally making them better with you.
Sure. Yeah. Mentoring them to some capacity.
Correct. Okay.
Coaching them in certain ways.
Yeah. They don't need to be a plumber. They don't need to be an electrician. They don't need to be an HVAC guy. And the worst thing you could do is pull your most successful technician out and make him a manager.
How come?
Because he doesn't have management experience.
Yeah, but he's super good at what he does. Doesn't that translate?
No, it doesn't. You need somebody that can manage people, right? And then if you pull,
how do you know that somebody can manage people? Like, what are you looking for?
hire somebody who's got management experience. Hire somebody who's like a natural leader, right? Who has that about them.
Sure.
Is
that like a vibe you feel out when you're interviewing, or like?
I think so.
Yeah, sure.
But I would look for experience and character.
Sure. And like a track record of those, if possible.
Yeah.
What, like past business references? Would that be a good place to check?
Yeah. Yeah. Construction management.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. In a heartbeat.
Yeah. And people have said good, their previous employers have said really good things about this guy.
Yeah.
And they use certain things like, yeah, he's really good with inspiring people to be better than they currently are.
Sure.
And all his guys drive way more revenue than anybody else's.
Yeah, they're probably not going to say that, but
that'd be cool if they did, though.
That's what I would be looking for. Somebody who can follow systems, who has management experience, and who isn't going to take any crap.
In your experience, how important has your general manager been to your
I couldn't have done
life?
I could not have done it without him. We would not be sitting here having this podcast.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
I would not have a coaching program.
Yeah.
I would not have social media. My business probably wouldn't make as much money as it does. Like me bringing him in, I lacked management capabilities. I'm not a manager. I'm a visionary.
Yeah.
I'm not even a visionary. I see a opportunity that I'm not a visionary at all. I see somebody else took this opportunity and made something cool. And I'm good at buckling down and recreating the thing, right?
Sure. You're a builder.
I like to build things.
You're a builder.
I can build it. I suck at managing it. So when I brought in my GM and he could manage the business, it was exactly what I needed. I needed him to manage it so that we could sit in the background together and optimize it. And that's what we've done for the last couple of years. We've come up with all the stuff that we talk about on this podcast. Couldn't have done it without him. So it was absolutely needed, hands down. Yeah, super needed.
Yeah.
So I would definitely hire a manager.
Yeah. So
especially if you want to continue to grow.
Yeah. So building a really solid company, that's like understanding the thing up to this point is really important. Then if you want that quote unquote autopilot business, then you have to hire very intentionally and well for this general manager position because they will unlock the rest of your life.
Yeah. Now you can, I think you should decide or at least think about like, hey, long before you do any of this stuff.
Sure.
And all along the way, I think you should be thinking about what is it that I want out of life? What is it that I value? Because you could sit in the general manager seat with 5 or 6 guys out in the field, and it's a relatively easy business to manage, really low risk, and can produce a butt ton of cash.
And you could make a lot of money for yourself just in that position.
Tons of cash. You don't have to hire somebody to manage it.
Sure.
And you don't even have to really be there all of the time.
Yeah.
It can, for the most part, run on its own.
Yep.
If you want to like move away or grow past that point, then you're going to have to hire a manager so you can continue to grow. But I wouldn't grow just for the sake of growth. I would only grow because it provides me with something that I can't get now that I want. That's it. But you have to know what you can't have now and what you want.
Yeah, and if I don't really know those things, should I just go for growth?
No. Not at all.
But what if I know that I want something more? I'm just not quite certain what that is because I haven't been there yet.
Well, I would identify maybe what it is that you want more of. I would think about it.
Sure.
Like when I reached the point where I hired my GM, I didn't know what the heck I wanted. I was in that bucket.
You kind of just arrived at that moment, I think, and you just put your head up and you were like, well, I guess well, to be fair, you were trying to hire Eddie in some fashion for a long time. Yeah. Whether that was a technician or a GM or whatever you had in your brain, it was like, I want you to work here. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't a good manager, and I was, if I'm sitting there in the day-to-day of the business, I'm not doing what I love.
Oh, okay.
I like to build stuff.
Yeah.
And when I'm sitting there and I have to manage and take care of these little things, and I freaking hate it.
Yeah, and then watch like get nitpicky with certain things and
it drive me insane. I can't look at Service Titan to this day. Like on the day-to-day,
sure.
I can't go in and look at the jobs. I'll be like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? I can't do it. So just think about what you want. Dude, we're going to make it to the end of this thing.
Dude, I didn't doubt us for a second.
I'm excited. So you've grown, you've hired a GM, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you haven't. Either way, it's time to systemize, like really dial this thing in before you go on to the next steps. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're going to be looking at your P&Ls, tracking your P&Ls, tracking numbers, looking at data, watching your business and understanding how what you do in your business affects your P&L.
Sure.
Yep. How when you change this thing or this system, what it did to your P&L. Okay. Because the ultimate goal, the ultimate skill is I do this and I get this result on my P&L.
Sure.
I get this positive result on my P&L. Meaning It either cuts labor costs by being more efficient, it lowers material costs, it raises gross margin, increases revenue, it cuts, overhead costs, or drives more money to the bottom line. All of those should drive more money to the bottom line, right? That should be your goal. How do I maximize the efficiency and profits of this business? And at that point, there's like no end.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you can always get better and better.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't grow until I've got that dialed in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't grow until I'm profitable. Like you can have a $3 million business with no manager and you can pull $1 million out of that business every year.
In profit?
In profit. Take home for you. You could do that with like 5 guys.
Yeah, you could you run it in the sense where like you get enough of a cash buffer to like feed the business if stuff gets lean and then take $1 million paycheck?
Yeah. You run a $3 million business for 1 year.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
That pulls in $1 million net. You keep 500,000 in the business. You take the other 500,000
you do another
and you
year.
live off of it. And then the next year you can keep all 1 million of it.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. With 5 or 6 guys out in the field, it's totally doable.
You just going to work for like 40 hours a week in a general manager chair and like doing stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's relatively simple.
Yeah.
You just have to put the pieces in place, stick with it long enough to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
And then you can hire a manager and you could scale even further from that point with the same systems, right? And if you go to like 7 million, you can be pulling in 2 million a year easily. Have a general manager sitting there managing that business with 9 or 10 guys out in the field. Still relatively simple, relatively small business, really good profits.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not about what you make, Jared. It's about what you keep.
Yeah. Yeah. The revenue is useless.
Yeah. Like if you're a guy and you're super excited because your company pulls in 25 million, but at the end of the day, your paycheck is like 280,000 for some weird reason.
Yeah. Even think about this. $25 million business at 15% profit is pulling in $4 million profit. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
So that's 15% profit. If you double that and say, we can build a business that has 30% net, we need half the business.
Yeah.
We need a $12.5 million business. We're literally doing half the stuff, half the employees, half the vans, half the risk, half the headache,
inventory system that's sucking your life away.
half of everything, making the exact same amount of money. Which one would you want?
Yeah, I mean,
and the latter, the $12.5 million business bringing home $4 million is totally possible. Totally possible. That's what's crazy. Pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's actually very cool.
Okay, so you're maximizing efficiency profits. From there, you're going to continue to grow this thing, and I can't help you do that because I haven't done it yet. Or you're going to enjoy yourself and go do something else.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's your call.
Yeah.
That's when you can go take your vacations.
Do you think it would be worth it at that time? Like if you wanted to continue to grow it, would it be worth it to invest in like coaching programs that help you grow beyond 5, 10 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck
More mentorships maybe and stuff like that. Pay somebody money to teach you stuff.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Because chances are you're going to need insight. Well, you would benefit greatly from insight.
Yes.
Going from 5 to wherever you want to go.
I can tell you right now, what got me to 1 million is completely different than what got me to 5 million.
Yeah.
I believe my company could do 6 or 7 million as it sits today.
Yeah.
What got us to our initial like 3 and 4 million isn't really what got us to where we are today.
No.
We had to really step up our game.
You could even listen to like the first couple of podcasts that we've done and what we talk about to then what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly believe that what's going to get me to 10 and 15 and 20 million is going to be totally different.
Yeah.
It's going to be a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
It's going to be more skill sets, right? They're going to continue to stack.
There are infinity skill sets to stack.
For me, if I want to go learn those skill sets, I'm going to find somebody that already has them and I'm going to pay them to teach them to me.
Yeah, because then you can
It's going to be so much faster.
Yeah, it's so much more efficient.
So much less headache. So much more efficient. Get it done the right way the first time.
Yeah.
And then move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, that's it. We're awesome.
Man, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Last pitch, playbook. Click the link in the bio or go to wealthyplumber.com/playbook. It's super awesome. If you need help with your business, book a call with us on the next page. We'll get you the help you need. And have a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, man, we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for listening and supporting this podcast.
More than you know. I never would have thought. What are we? I don't even know what we're at. 14,000 subscribers at this point. Something like that. 14 point something.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, listening to two jokers.
Maybe it's 11,000.
I don't
even know.
I don't pay
But
attention.
whatever.
But man, we appreciate you guys a ton. We
I
really
never
do.
thought this would get over 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're at where we're at,
Yeah.
and we didn't buy any views, we didn't play any weird YouTube games. It's literally just all organic of me and you getting on here and talking about dumb crap all day.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah. You guys are great. Appreciate you so much.
Later.
See ya.